Let's take a look at what quilters might look for when they're looking to purchase fabric to make a quilt with. There's a huge range of skill and interest and taste when it comes to quilting, but ultimately quilters are looking for a few specific things when it comes to purchasing quilting fabric. So what are they? Probably the most important of all is the scale of the print. We've talked a lot about how quilters cut up fabric into very small pieces. Imagine if you do a beautiful repeat at a very large scale. Probably it's not going to be that appealing to a quilter because they know that when they take this beautiful large scale print home, they're going to cut it up into tiny little pieces. So let's take a look. Here we've got a small scale print. These are inches on my mat here as well, just to give you a sense of the scale of these. So we've got a small scale print, I've got a medium scale print, and I've got a large scale print as well. So this one's a bit kind of variable, it kind of goes all over, but the motifs are quite large, so I'm using that for this example here. So let's have a look at something that I use. This is a pretty cheap tool. I use this quite a lot. These are old cereal boxes, and what I've done is I just cut out the size of the shape that's going to appear on my quilting block, and this way I have a good way to audition fabrics that I want to use in my quilt potentially and see how the patterns react when they're cut down into smaller sizes. So let's start big. This is 6 inches. This is a 6-inch triangle that we might use to make a 6-inch by 6-inch half square triangle. So starting with the small scale pattern, you can see that it reads pretty much the same as it does without cutting it into a shape. The medium scale pattern is the same. You know, you're seeing most of all of the motifs that are on there. You can catch them all within this 6-inch triangle. But already the large scale print, we're cutting out quite a lot of the pattern already at this large scale at 6 inches square. So I'm not able to necessarily catch all of the motifs. So let's have a look at what the 3-inch size does. Again, on the small scale print, the print itself reads pretty much as it did before. There's not a lot of difference between those two. The medium scale print as well, we're still catching quite a lot of the motifs in there. And then on the large scale print, you can see already, I can get some really nice effects with this, but I'm not getting the whole full effect of the fabric itself. I'm definitely zeroing in on smaller parts, and some of them are actually maybe not even that great to look at when you cut it down into such small pieces. 1.5 inch, again, you can still get quite a lot of the motifs in this from here, and you can see the pattern it's reading pretty similarly. The medium scale print here, I'm starting to really crop out a lot of the pattern, but it's still okay. Like, I mean, it's still, you could still focus in on some of the smaller flowers if you wanted to. On the large scale print, it's really not giving me very much at all. I can even, if I'm not careful and I cut incorrectly, I could get just like a plain white triangle, which is probably not what I'm after if I'm trying to use a printed pattern. So I hope that gives you some idea of just how the fabrics can change when they're cut down into smaller pieces.